Hi everyone, welcome back to my videos. I took a little hiatus, but I'm back now with some new content, and this is going to be really exciting. I was completely blown away when I had this idea and actually put it into practice. So yeah, so what I've done, and I have melted down some wax, and this is just wax that I have previously used before. That, just looking for my, oh, here it is. I used it's got resin all the way through it, so I am just going to pour it back into there. So this will get all, well, the majority of the impurities, and by impurities I mean the resin that I used. Oh, there's quite a few in there. So as you can see, those little round or cylindrical nuggets I made to use as dividers or to prop pieces up on a piece of resin art. So with that all passed, I will get on to the next bit. So when it comes to the pouring of the ink, pouring of the wax, so I'm going to let it cool a little bit. Right now it's probably sitting on around 80 degrees, and if it's too hot it's gonna alter the surface of what you're pouring onto, especially if it's a thin plastic. So for this first one, I'm going to pour straight onto this tray. I haven't done it straight onto plastic before. I've either used baking paper or cellophane. Now the cellophane is great, but see how this is kind of rippled, which would be great for an ocean coaster on the bottom, but it's not ideal for what I initially wanted it for. So yeah, so then I moved on to using the baking paper, and which is good, but it also is, because it does resist the wax, being a wax paper itself essentially. If you move the wax, you can easily lose the surface contact of the wax to the baking paper, and then you're going to have your resin, when you pour the resin into it, it's going to go everywhere. So that is not ideal. So I'm going to try pouring straight onto the plastic today. I have done some tests and I know that it does pull straight off like resin normally does on plastic, but it does go cloudy because of the type of plastic it is. But again, for what I'm going to be using it for, I don't need it to be crystal clear. So today what I'm going to do is show you essentially how I do it, and the links, or not the links, how wide a variety of uses this technique actually has. Alright, so let's give this a feel. That is still really hot to the touch, so I'm just going to let that cool down a little bit more, and then I will continue. Alrighty, So we're sitting on 50 degrees and it's starting to get a film on top. So I'm going to pour that. Oh, it's started to pour that now straight onto here. So I want a little bit of depth. I hope I've melted enough. Oh, that'll do for the experiment anyway. Well, not the experiment, the example. Okay. So now that it is not, I've changed the volume shape of it, it's going to cool down a lot quicker, hopefully. Yeah. So we need this to get down to around 30 degrees to do what we want to do, or what I want to do. So the shapes I'm going to do today is I'm going to try one. This is what I normally do. So I'd press that onto it and then essentially cut around it and lift it out, and it will lift out the piece, all going well, if it's at the right temperature. So what I'm also going to do is, this is one that I've made previously and it's got a nice smooth, relatively even surface there. So I'm going to press that in and see what kind of shape that makes, because I'm not sure if the wax is going to lift off this plastic container. So I'm going to do the two just to have just for a experiment. So this is what I'm melting down. These were on special. This was $8 for 50. And when I looked at comparing the volume of what I would get melting this down to melting the biggest candle that they had, I was better off to get 2 packs of these. So that's what I've done, and it does really do a nice crisp wax, so that's really good. So you can see that's actually starting to set now, but it is still a long way off. Yeah, so we're still up around 53 degrees. So yeah. So the other thing that I decided to try, I don't know about you, but I seem to be forever sanding the back of things off because of the resin droplets. These are on MDF. Now obviously you're not going to get the resin droplets if you're pouring into a mold, but yeah, I don't, because these have got the decals on, there is a layer of resin over the top. So what I'm going to do is show you what I did, or how I'm doing it. So I dipped that into hot wax. I actually did tape up the sides, just put a bit of masking tape around the sides, because I knew that I wanted the resin to pour over. So I just dipped it in like that and then took the masking tape off, and then I poured the resin. So now what is going to happen is that resin, and this is poured yesterday, so it's well set. Trying not to get any into the fresh wax, so it just clips off, whatever you like to call it. So again, I can just melt this wax down again once it's all off, strain it, and yeah. So now, being very careful not to pull up the wood like I just did. I don't want to move that wax, but I need to put pressure on it to get that off. So anyway, I would just keep doing that on a hard surface, pushing it down and around for it to come off. And then all I did after that to get the wax off, got my trusty little blowtorch, and I could probably do it all for all of it, maybe. And got a rag and just quickly, yeah, wiped it off. So now all you need to actually do is just go through and give that a little bit of a sand to even out the surface. And there you go. Pretty much done. Without any sanding or such like. I thought that was pretty cool. Okie dokie. So let's have a look at this. Oops, foreigner. Okay, we're still at 49 degrees. So what you don't want is, I'll try and do it in the middle. So see how that wet wax is still coming up? You don't want that. You want it completely cool. And it's also creating an edge. Do it again. Let's see the wet wax now. So we're not ready yet. So obviously being in the middle, that's going to be a lot slower and cooling down. So I'm going to try the edge. Let's see how that works. So I'm just pushing that quite firmly in. And this is what you'll actually come out with. Now I didn't chop that when the resin was still soft, so it's going to need a little bit of a sand, but that's no biggie. Just get your tool and get it in like that, and it's done. So let's pull that out, and you can see it's left a perfect indentation. And the other ones that I've been doing are the letters. So that's a good temperature for these ones that I'm not going to cut around. It's a bit close and it's a bit soft. See how I was wrong, and it's still got that it's got the liquid coming out. So I might just gently try that, because when it's really soft like this, it's actually going to move the wax over there, which is why I put this piece back in, to make sure it hasn't changed that indentation too much. Okay. So there you have it. So I will wait to do the rest. She says, no, I'm actually going to, oops. Because there's nothing around it, and I'm pushing the whole piece in, and I'm putting a fair bit of pressure on that. I'm not changing the shape of anything else. Now to get this out without okay. So maybe this one wasn't such a good idea. I might let that set a little bit. So right, next lot of wax is melted. So again, I'm going to pass it. Let that cool a little. Got my baking paper on it ready to go. Right, so yep. So this one here is now at, you can see the difference, how it's stretching. So it's on around 45 degrees. So I'm going to get my, right, I'm back. It's rudely interrupted by my phone's alarm on my phone, or a message on my phone. So now that that wax is a little bit cooler, I'm just going to get my tool. See how, if you look at that edge, it's nice and clean. Sorry, phone's taking ages to come into focus. There we go. That's going to be better. Whoops, wrong side. Oh no, right side. So there's a fair bit of drag on that now, but there's no liquid coming out. And it's doing a nice, beautiful edge. So when you're doing this, make sure to keep your tool straight up and down, because if you don't, you're going to get a slightly angled edge. You don't want that. Just cleaning up that edge a bit. And it's going to be quite important that you don't have bits of wax in there like that, because obviously that's going to create a dent in the resin. So that's really good. So I wonder if I can get this one out now. Oh yeah, it's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's not as deep, but you've got the base there. Anyway, so that was an experiment. Don't think that's going to be usable for what I want, but still good. Okay, so that wax would have cooled down a little bit. So I'm going to, don't think there's enough wax in here for a full tray, which is why I've done the fold in the paper. So you can see there is a slight crinkling on here, but nothing like I would get with the cellophane. Oops. Well, that's nice and deep. Okay. Put that to the side for a minute. No pussy. Not for cats. Right. I wonder if it's going to be, I'm thinking it will be too hard to push that in by now. It's going in, but it's not going to create a nice deep one like that, I don't think. Yeah. Beautiful imprint though for that one. So let's just I can still feel that wax moving, so that is something. I could still be fine to cut into. I will show you the temperature of it. Oops, it's not straight in a minute. Oh, yep. Okay. I did try a feather yesterday, but it didn't work. So that temperature is around 39 degrees and it's still completely movable, so I can still cut into it quite easily. What else should I do? Oh, that's what I'll do. I wondered if it could be used as a coaster mold. So this is that one that I tried, but you can see I didn't go down on the edges correctly. So I'm going to do it again. And it was on the baking paper and the resin all seeped out because I'd lost the connectivity in that surface. So there we go. Keeping that tool. Oh, that's really set. No. I wonder. No. Too set. That's okay. Doesn't matter. I can try it on the next one. So in the meantime, I might do this. See if that works. Yeah. Quite a bit of drag in there. I'm really going to be pushing this. it's too much drag actually. I think it's going to dislodge this piece that I need to stay on the plastic. But we'll keep going. You can, oops, you can only try these things. I haven't worked with it this hard before, so it's going to be interesting to see. So I'm just going in and clearing that edge so it picks up. You can see the movement in it already. It's wanting to lift up. Yeah, so it is actually dislodged. Oh, see, it's lifted it completely off. So that's what we don't want, because the resin's going to seep all under there now. And I could try melting it back down, but that might have worked. Oh well, we can try it and see. Okay, oh, yeah. I just don't want to put too much heat on the plastic, A, to burn it, or B, to buckle it, because that would not be cool. Right, let's move. Okay. So I poured this in, had a bit of a nightmare with the circle one, and I don't think, I thought I'd push record but hadn't, so I don't think I'm going to get that out, because I pushed it in when the wax was far too soft and it was just liquid, as you can see by my ability to actually push that up. If I might try cutting it, oh no, maybe not. So here what I did was this shape here I did with the cutting around it, and this one, however, I pushed it in and then cut around it. So you can see that it's kind of come up with a beveled edge there, and that is a little bit straighter because I had the ability to go straight down. Yeah, so it's actually pushing, when we're pushing the wax out, is actually pushed that edge out and it's not straight anymore. I wonder if I can push it in. Anyway, that'll do for now, and I will try and get that little gem out and pour some resin. Okay, so as you can see, I did get this one out, and I'm really happy with the shape, but there's a little bit down the bottom, which would be the top, I'm guessing, that, or maybe not, that has got a indentation in it. So I'm going to give it another go. Went and melted some more wax. Hopefully it's enough. So I thought I might also try pouring around it. Oh, it's not going to be enough wax. Oh well, never mind. Oops. Alright, it's going to be a watch this space one. Alright, so I think I've got the wax all formed around it, and it's still really soft. Oh. I think it's going to lift out really easy as well, actually. So I think it's all level. Oh no, maybe not. It's like icing a cake. Nice little bit of movement in there. Well, that's going to be handy, that wax. Oh no, it's not. If I let that set, it would have actually helped me pick it up. I was too impatient. See how much wax seeped in. Ooh, looky! Ooh, that's going to be fun. Alright, so I'm going to let that set. And then I'm going to pour some resin, but first I might so this is one of the finished pieces that I'm going to use in a piece of 3D kind of art, and as you can see, I've had to sand off the back quite a bit because of the resin drops, but this is what I initially wanted it for. But it just has so many uses. When I finally decided of the layout of this piece, I will put it up. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. I'm not sure whether I'm going to show you most of the resin pour in a part 2, or it'll be on this. So I guess you'll soon know if it keeps going after this. Thanks everyone. Bye.